Welcome to the Miracles in Wellness podcast. My name is Clarissa Booker, and I'm a holistic coach and beauty expert. I'm here to empower and motivate you to improve your health and lose weight by adding more whole plant foods into your lifestyle. In addition, kick stress to the curb. So be open to receive, because I believe that miracles are for everyone. Hey friend, hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're going to get into it and talk a little bit about counting calories, right? Because if you're on like a weight loss journey at any point in your life, you've probably kind of done it a little bit, right? We've all kind of dabbled in that here and there, or maybe you're still doing it now, right? And I remember when I was like younger, I don't remember how old I was, right? Maybe like college years or something. I had found a book in a store. I don't know, something I found where it was just like had all the calories in it. And I would carry this around with me. Terrible. I was terrible. I was just like, let me whip this out right quick. We would go somewhere. Not doable. Nobody should do that. And then I was like heavy in fitness. My body was going, I was putting my poor little body through some things back then. Okay, sis, I really was. All right. And for one, that is not a healthy way to live, right? And it's just kind of not being balanced. And I was like super restrictive. So I would try to, I think at one point in my past, I did all the health things, like all the little crazes, which is why I know better now. It's why it's like one thing that's like super important, right? And then if you're not careful, it can just lead you down more stress and guilt. You might be overwhelmed with food, and it just affects your relationship with food when you think about it, right? And then is it really even practical to live your life like that every day, right? Just being in situations where you have to track all the time. It's really hard to do that. When you're out in social situations or even when you're home, you don't want to sit there and just write that down and keep track of that. And then at that, it's very hard to even keep track of calories if you're thinking about it. So if you prepare a meal, what are you going to do? If you have a sauce, and depending on what you're eating with this, it's just, that can be overwhelming if you let it get to you, right? Because we're not supposed to be eating in that manner. That's why, right? Just think about that. It's kind of hard to track every single ingredient, right? If you're doing it like that. And then what happens when you're going out, you're in an environment, and you want to be able to enjoy your life, right? Have joy in your life. And if you are so consumed about what you're going to eat and you just decide to stay home, that's nowhere to live, right? I've talked to people where they're telling me that, I just didn't feel like going because I didn't know what there was to eat, and I just felt like calculating it. Well, you shouldn't be worrying about calculating it. Go and enjoy yourself. You could take it upon yourself to try to look up what's there in the menu. And then if you can, you have to do the best with what you have in your surroundings in that time, or you can bring something. There's different strategies around that, but just refraining from something because you're not able to count it. We don't want you to live like that, sis. There is no way for you to live, okay? So try to let that go, right? It's just not sustainable for everyday life, right? And we want to live in the moment, right? We want to live in the now, in the moment, because nothing is promised and you just want to enjoy yourself, right? And sometimes, let's say you have a daughter. Do you want her picking up those habits as well? Sometimes we truly know that we shouldn't be doing something but it's not about that, because maybe somebody else is watching you, right? What happened if they be like, but I'm going to do that too? Sometimes it starts very, very young, right? Like I started getting into health and stuff when I was very young. And, and there's so much stuff out there. Think about all the commercials out there. Look at social media. There's so much in your face all the time, right? And not all the content's created equal. You know what I mean? So there's all this stuff. So what we can do is try to be the best role model that we can with what we know, right? Learning every single day. Every day we grow, right? We're growing every single day, but we have to figure out which way do we want to grow, right? Do we want to keep on the path? Do we want to tweak some things? That's just part of life, right? And then another major thing is it doesn't take into account the nutritional value of what we are eating. Look, sis, that's super important, right? So if your goal is just to eat a certain amount of calories, that doesn't take into account what you're eating. You might just be looking at this not block of time, like your calorie counter, or say you're using the app or you're writing it down, however you're choosing to track. But then you're like, okay, well, I have a space for 500 more calories. And then you just be like, I'm just going to go eat this junk food. and you do that every single day, right? You leave an extra 500 calories for some junk. We know that's not the way, okay? You know that's not the best option. But if you're only tracking calories, it leaves space for that. So you can eat processed food, packaged food, all kinds of things that are not the best for us. You could just uptake on your sugar, right? So you have a sweet tooth, but you'd be like, well, it fits into my calories, and you keep eating it all day, right? And then you might go a day and you'll be like, this is my day where I'm just going to do all the things. But then you're like, well, technically that didn't hurt me because it didn't come off with my calories. And you just keep doing it all the time. That's not going to be beneficial for your health, right? Because it's always about the bigger picture. So yeah, the calories might be within a certain within a certain area, and it gives you that calorie deficit, but it's not going to be good for you in the long run, right? How is that going to affect your health, what you're consuming, right? So our body doesn't need the calories, but we need vitamins, we need minerals, we need all those nutrients. And so when we're just looking at calories, it's missing, right? You can do all the things. And then where does that leave you? That leaves you with yo-yo dieting, malnutrition. That might lead you into feeling guilty, even more stressed from when you started. There's just a lot of things that's going to happen. You might skip meals. Your hormones are just going to be out of whack, right? This is not what we want, right? And then in the long run, you'll probably be even more hungry, right? Because you were not looking at the nutritional quality of your food. Your food wasn't nutrient dense. And so your body's like, what's this chick doing? I need my food, right? And then next thing you know, you're hungry. Then you're like, why am I always hungry? You're hungry, sis, because you're not eating, for one. You're restricting your food. Look, that's not the way, okay? This is why you're hungry. Your body's like looking for food. It wants to eat. Your body wants to be nourished, right? Just like you take care of others because you're giving and you're nurturing. You need to nurture yourself first. Sis, put yourself first. That includes all of you, right? Then there's also when you're like, well, I'll stop counting when I reach my goal. Look, that's not really the best option when you think about it, right? Because if you had to be that restrictive of your eating to reach a certain goal, what happens? As soon as you stop, you gain the weight back. Okay, doesn't that happen? Then you wind up going into this yo-yo dieting because it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable for you to live your life in that manner. That's a red flag. If whatever you're doing is stressing you out and so restrictive, I want you to stop, okay? I want you to stop. Because that means you have to keep doing it. And that's why that yo-yo dieting might be happening when you think about it. Because if you're like, boom, I have to count my calories in order to lose this weight. You have to ask yourself, how do you stop? Because if you didn't actually focus on how you're going to eat your food and all the other components and tools that go into it, as soon as you stop, you're going to gain the weight. So then what do you tell yourself? You have to stay like that? You can't. I don't want you to live your life in that manner, right? And you should not want that for yourself. Sis, I don't want that for you, and I don't want you to want that for you, okay? In any capacity, all right? And then also what happens when it's just too excessive, your calorie deficit, when you have all the dietary restrictions on you, and then it's also this heavy exercising, all these things, right? When you're just doing it overload, there's the balance, your body's just not in balance, right? Then what happens to your muscle? Your muscle starts breaking down. And then also when you're over 40, it's probably going to start breaking down too. So we want to put that on top of that. It's just like all these layers. It's like, you don't need to do that to yourself, right? Let's try to remove some of those layers, right? Let's just make our life simple, right? Because even in terms of weight loss, let's say you have 100 calories. 100 calories is going to be 100 calories, whatever it is. But 100 calories of Oreo cookies and 100 calories of broccoli, it's going to affect you differently, right? So, but if you're counting calories, what you're going to do? You have your choices, right? You have the nutrient-dense food, and then you have the not nutrient-dense food, right? When you think about it. So our fruits and our vegetables, all of those things. Plus, what does it do? It increases your longevity. So quick fixes always backfire. Quick fixes are not the way. So I hope this gave you a little bit more insight into why it is not the best way to count calories. But what I am going to do is invite you to come to a free masterclass next week. It is bit.ly/yes2plants. That's bit.ly/yes2plants. And we're going to talk all about how plant-based eating can help you lose weight and improve your health without counting calories. I cannot wait to see you there. I'm super excited about it. All right, and also the link will be in the show notes. I got it there for you, so you can just click and come right on over and register. All right, until next time.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for coming by. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on your favorite platform, and also don't forget to leave a written review, as well as share this episode. That's how we spread the message.